my friends. My guest today is Odilon Mets. Odilon is trainer in new family constellations as well as constellations for organizations. He has been conducting constellations workshops and individual sessions since 2000. Odilon speaks 4 languages: English, French, German, and Dutch. Hi, Odilon.
Hi, Viktoria.
I'm so happy to see you today, I'm very, very exciting about our conversation because I know you have something interesting to share with audience about
Yes.
family constellations and how to apply knowledge of family constellations, how to apply orders of love in personal and professional life. I learned that you received diploma of the Hellinger School from Jean-Monet University, right?
Yes.
And I would like to know more about your work, what your paper was about.
My paper was about different aspects of the new family constellation, like yes, it's almost four or 5 years ago that I wrote this this work, so I know it not by heart what I ever wrote, but there were some topics that for me are very different according to the classical family constellation, which I learned in a 1-year training in Holland and a 3-year training in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this was the approach of Bert Hellinger, and also what for me is very important is his, which I didn't know at that time, but were his insights of conscience, the different conscience.
Yes.
So your personal conscience, the the collective consciousness, and the conscience, and the conscience of the spirit. And as nobody else but Bert understands his own insights the best, for me, he worked out of spiritual conscious, and spiritual conscience makes no difference anymore. Everybody is not equal, but is, I don't know the term in English, but nobody is better than the other. And there is no wrong or good or bad. He works out of that dimension and that level. And that made family constellation so open that he took all the participants with him in this field of no distinction. And when there is no distinction, then your heart opens and your mind opens, and everything becomes wider and deeper. And for me, it was like the roof went open and there was no limit anymore. And that's what I'm seeing also in the new family constellation, that it's beyond space and time. And we as human beings, the more and the more I see that, we are also not, we are in our existence yet in 2021, but we don't know with what we come in resonance. And that is, for me, timeless. And we work also in that way. So if I give a course or a workshop, or I work with individual people, then I explain always a bit about the different levels of conscience, and that my approach, or the approach that I learned from Bert Hellinger and Sophie, is that we work out of that dimension where there is no distinction. So everybody is all right as he is. And also everything what happened in that family or whatever, your heart is always open for that. And that's the start of which you are holding the space. And it's not love as we know, as love from man to a woman or parents to a child. It's another kind of love. It's another kind of love. It's I cannot grasp it, but you can feel it, and you can, when you're in that state of. Bert Hellinger had also other terms he used, like being in your middle, centered, and in such a neutral state, but in a kind, I should say, in a kindly neutral state, because your arms are wide and open for everything and everybody. And that's also becoming a way of life for me. So when, of course, we are all human beings and we are hurt, and sometimes we have to look where our love is still. But you are more and more conscious about your own topics and your own traumas. Also, I don't need not to go to a therapist or whatever, not in the moment. But you learn such much about people who come to you, who visit you. And that's so a rich it's this wisdom of everybody that they bring with them. And just to see what the movement brings. And not like classical family constellation where we talk more. Let's say my approach, when something comes up, then I have to say it, because it's a truth that comes up, and my hair on my arms are doing like that, or something else in my body.
Goosebumps, right?
Yes, and when it's recognized, it's yeah, then you really feel again the respect of greater movements. I cannot say, but it's spiritual movement, so to speak. Yes.
So, and people can feel these truths, right? And
yes,
these truths has healing effect on them.
Yeah.
Even though we're not able to say what exactly happened, but we can sense that there is some shift, something happened, and this shift allows to open something new, right? Is that correct statement?
That's correct. Yes. Something shifts, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. You describe this picture of love, non-judgmental love, very beautifully. I love it. It's like, you know, I had an image of sun that gives its warmth and light to everyone without dividing people. This one deserves sunlight, this one does not, right? It just different perspective, different dimension, if you wish, where everyone equal as a person that belongs and has equal right to belong that system, and pretty much equal before something great. That's in my imagination what picture I saw based on what you described. And I love you, you mentioned that it's important to be centered. However, not everyone would understand this meaning. What does it mean to be centered? And I'm just wondering, is that natural for everyone to be centered, or people have to be trained to be centered? Did you have this ability from the beginning of your life, or you develop it somehow? To be centered and perceive the world in a way as you perceive it right now.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's something that you don't have like that. It's something that you learn through experience. Like I already said, you have to grow out of your own topics and see your own fear and your own anxieties and so on. Then it's easy to be centered. And of course, it can be that in a course something happens and that somebody judges you, for instance, and that you feel that it's normal that you feel that. But then you have the ability to be in, or to receive that, and staying open to yourself and to the other. It's very important that the other is there is no judgment, but that there is from both sides something that's not in resonance and that clashes. And then you learn that to be in your center, where you become again neutral, and you have to wait for that, not go in any reaction, but wait and breathe and feel yourself totally. Come back to yourself totally. So that's my experience. And feeling what's happening, and let it be. And then you can come back in another way. But first, be present with what happens at that moment.
Yes, yeah.
And that's experience. That's a lot of experience. Yes. And I think, in a way, you don't become family constellator. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. You are a seeker of your own, and when you found your own, then you are becoming very authentic. And people who are authentic, like you saw acting Bert Hellinger, it was not always like that, but most of the time he was a very authentic person, and you see that you feel there is, it's everybody becomes at ease with somebody who is authentic, who is not driven by his, let's say, ego or whatever. We have an ego, of course, but in that way you can be authentic, very authentic also. Yes.
What you just shared, you said that you were seeking for something that would bring you answers to answer your personal questions, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this teaching, Bert Hellinger, opened something for you that you were not able probably to see before. And I'm just curious if was something special in your life that you started this process of seeking for answers, or you just wanted naturally knew something new. Can you share a little bit about how you arrived to the field of the family constellations, where it started with?
Yeah, it started with a very heavy crisis that I had in life. And it was in 1997 that my former wife left me, and we had twins, and they were 9 months old. So she left me and went to another country in another relationship, and then all my traumas popped up. So the feeling of dying, really. There were moments that I couldn't stand up, that I couldn't stand up. I was on my knees and hands, and my body was also, it was not only emotional, but also my body was so hurt inside. And I went ill also. So, yeah, I feel compassion now with myself when I say that. But that's fully okay. And that was the first. I had to do some steps, Viktoria, because life was not possible anymore, and I had to go on living, yeah, for not for my children, but also for myself.
And it's wonderful that you didn't give up. You tried
Yes.
to find a solution. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. You can say it's to survive. It's not life, it's survive. Now it's more life than survive, but then it was survive. So I looked for help, and then not uh, then I met Family Constellations in Holland for the first time, or for two teachers. And then I get courses from Viktoria Schnabel, who is very well known in Germany and in Haiti and America, I think, and Robert Tuch, Ramatirta. They were two sannyasins coming from Osho in late 60s, I think, and then they were also very taking away with family constellations, and then they give it further, and now I'm doing the same in my way. So that was a bit the process I had. And then something also very important that I discovered is the phenomenon of loss of a twin or loss of a multiple. And that was for me the case. And yeah, coincidence. Again, I went to a teacher in Germany who lost his twin brother, I think, and was born with 7 months. And the other one was also born but died.
Mhm.
So there I discovered this phenomenon, and that changes a lot for me. So my anxieties went away. My I don't know how the word is. In Belgium we say melancholy. Melancholy is so.
It's, yeah, I understand. It's sort of sadness, right?
Sort of sadness, yeah, sadness, yeah, and so that disappeared for these feelings were not there anymore. So that was for me also something that family constellations is working so good that you can shift your life 180 degrees. And you don't have to do 100 constellations, but more than one. Definitely.
You raised a very good topic. I'm afraid that some of not everyone would understand what we discuss right now, because not everyone have knowledge of family constellations. So let's explain a little bit why it helped, or let me rephrase this question. Or why family constellations has this healing effect. Yes, this person had a twin, and he probably knew nothing about this twin, or even if he knew about this twin, he didn't pay attention to that. So what the effect of family constellation, what happened during that family constellation that makes that man sort of free of sadness? What exactly happened?
Yeah. I have to describe that, what exactly happened. I don't really know, but
Okay.
there is the recognition that there was something. I used then the word soul, something or somebody, or more than more people or more persons were missing in your soul, or you did, from which you didn't know. And then if you recognize that they are there and you feel it also in your body, it's also a way of embodiment. And then they are there. They are, you don't have to look anymore, and you feel complete or more complete. Something has finished. A movement of searching finished. Oh, they are there, they are welcome. It's like which Bert Hellinger had put a lot of attention on, is the movement to the mother, for instance. If the movement to the mother is underbroken, is not completed,
Interrupted,
and not completed, but that it's by not only with the mother, but in more traumas, is something of a movement is not finished, it's not round. But then if you can have your mother, and even if she is already 20 years passed away, but you can make this movement again with somebody else, then there is this movement is going to complete himself, and that's really a healing effect of you. And then you can open your arms also for others. You don't have to do that anymore, or being anxious or afraid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And something comes to an end, and is completed, and that makes you also more authentic, because you don't need anything. There can be a desire, of course, we all have, but you don't have expectations anymore, but you can properly say, oh yeah, you're there, I'm happy, oh, I'm so thankful that you are there. And yeah, that is a big shift in somebody's life, that not more they are not more doing this, but they are doing that. Oh, you're welcome. Being authentic also from, okay, now I have to be on my own or something like that. But or I need my own space, or whatever, without hurting anybody, or without conflict. Without conflict. Yeah.
You explained that very well, and now I have some other ideas or topics to discuss. So what I hear, that on some level we feel everyone in our family system, if we consciously know about their existence or we don't know about their existence, if we consciously excluded them from our love, if we don't know if someone excluded, there is a system, family system, that treats everyone equally. And we, on some level, we don't know exactly how, but we are able to connect, to resonate with those people. And back to situation with twins, even if we not consciously know about that person, on soul level, we have this disturbance that something is missing. And what family constellations allow us to do, just to bring these hidden dynamics, these hidden connections to light, and accept that person, bring that person back to system, and then in some way and somehow it allows system to relax, and then each one have more opportunity to live fulfilling love, or more harmonious love. Yes, that's
yes. As I'm going to say almost the same, but in other words.
Yes, please.
Like I see it, is that we have our consciousness, but a lot of things happen in unconscious, because we are always in a much greater field than we know, and driven by so many things that we can't cope that. But things that really happened in the family system, or further on, can be past lives, or can be birth experiences, or whatever, or before that. We are driven by that, and if we are, when a lot of sad things happened, then unconscious, you're not a happy person. Of course, you can grin and smile,
Yes.
but it's more rage than a happy person, and we don't know. So the more you are seeing things that uh, were living very, very intensive in you as a person, and the more it comes into the light and the more you integrate it, the more you are coming free from that, and the more you can relax and sit back and have confidence, and you know at the end everything comes well. So that's is another way of explaining that. Yeah, there is that's what's bring up in family constellation, that something out of the unconsciousness becomes conscious
Mm-hmm.
on the filter, and that changes our lives. Yes, very well. So in that way, it works very, very well.
For me, you're just an example how you moved from your personal difficult life situation to the person who is able to center himself and accept life as is, stop judging people, stop projecting your belief system on others, and as you said, to move from surviving mode to life, right? To live your life. And I think it's just absolutely great. And I'm very happy to know that you have your educational program. Could you share something about the program you offer to people?
Yes. There are, I have my workshops. That's in 1-day workshops. I have a short training of 3 days. Not there is always a few weeks in between, but I see things shifting in people who follow the first day, and then on the last day, on these 3 days, so many things are already shifted in after 1 month. And then I have a training for 2 years for the new family constellation. I'm a bit a pioneer in Belgium and Holland because no one finished the Hellinger school except me. Yes. And I started that not so long ago, in January 2019, and it came out of people who of which I gave this short training. They wanted me to have a proper education for learning themselves, and they use it in their profession also. So they use it not only for being a facilitator, to become a facilitator, but they use it in their profession, in social work, in psychology, also an engineer. So they use it in their work. Yes.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask, if you have an example. So
Yes.
People just not focus on being facilitators, but they can use this knowledge in their profession. They don't have to quit and be facilitators. That's
no. And that's a bit of my vision, if I can. Yes, that's my conscience. If I allow me to have a vision, I would like to bring this work to so many people as possible, because I find it so very important that it's such a great thing that can not help. I don't like the word help in that context, but further that it gives a total other perspective if you know a bit more about it. It gives you a total other perspective, because you don't see people as yes, that's the one, but you widen your perspective very, very large, in a large way. And that opens a lot for everybody. And in every context he is working, in his family, in his private life, work life. So, and I think it can change on many levels. Yeah, that things are becoming another approach, a more conscious approach, out of in the way of the spiritual approach. Knowing about the other, conscious, but then integrating as a spiritual approach.
Right. So it might bring more solutions that are based on better understanding of each other, right? It would reduce the amount of dramas and conflicts in families and in organizations as well, right? I believe that if you teach someone who wants to know family constellations for business, right, especially management, it might help them to better understand their employees, right? And based on this wider perspective, make better solutions that will bring success to that business. And people, if they're not involved in all those conflicts and dramas, they might be more productive, right? Or I don't know, you have some other examples?
Yes. Viktoria, as we speak, you do family constellations also, and you can also feel so that there is a sort of natural order, and when there is an approach out of that natural order without any judgment or any wanting to change it, but if how do I can I explain that? But you're following that natural order, and that's why I show the orders of love, of course, and I do it in different demonstrations, but also not with the meaning that are the orders of love. No, you follow the movement, and if you act out of that natural order, nothing can be wrong, nothing can be going out of hand, because it happens. Huh? And that, so I look at family constellations also at that way. We don't have to bring something in order, but we follow the movements, like you said before, that something shifts and comes in a new way, on a new level. And that new level has more spirit, has more life, has more joy, has more compassion, has more whatever. So it's connected to life in his most expanded sense, I should say.
That's a great explanation. I love it. I love how you put it. Yes, excellent. So if people want to find you, where should they go? If people want to contact you, you have website?
Well, yeah, my website, and they could send me an email, and it can be in these different languages, so I understand them. Of course, the most people come from Holland or from Belgium, but I had also out of other countries. So they can find me on the web, www.bewustzijnshuis.be, but you can write it in on your screen. Or telephone me, or WhatsApp, or FaceTime, or Zoom session. Everything is possible. Yes.
Yay, orders of love are available for everyone.
Yes.
Just
we should spread it out in the world.
yeah,
Yes.
just come over and learn. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that knowledge and experience you shared with us today. I truly appreciate that. And I wish you all the best. A lot of great students who will apply this knowledge in their profession, in their life, and will spread this knowledge further.
Yes.
Thank you.
Me also, I'm very thankful, Viktoria, and I'm also touched. And I said it before, your initiative is really, really worthwhile. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, see you next time. We will continue.
See you next time also.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.